Hello YouTubers, and welcome to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and I'm coming to you right now live to cover the topic about predictions from a psychic perspective. And we have seen typically over the last century, there's been a lot of people who were classified as prophets or who had abilities to get certain information, and a lot of it has been controversial, and there's been a lot of skeptics on whether or not that if this is even possible. Can people actually predict things that are accurate? Now, I will say that not everybody is psychic, and not everybody is medium, and not everybody can make a prediction. Not everybody can see that. Some people can just predict things because they have the ability to foresee in the future, and this does not make us a fortune teller. That's not what we are. We don't tell necessarily the fortune, but as psychics and mediums, spirit, we can only tell you what spirit allows us to see for a specific time or purpose. So for let's say we are doing a reading for someone, we can pick up future insights, things that are to come, but nothing is written in stone. So meaning whatever a psychic or a medium does foretell or does foresee happening can change. And sometimes the information that we do give for future insight is given for a specific reason, and that is because spirit wants the person to maybe change or alter the path that they're on. So for the most part, a lot of people may say, well, my psychic predicted that this is going to happen, or my psychic gave me some kind of, or my medium gave me certain a certain date or a certain time frame, and the things didn't happen. Sometimes we are human, that times can be off, so you can't, like I said, your free will's at play, and your free will governs what you're actually going to be able, what how you can alter your life path. So nothing typically is going to be written in stone. Nothing is going to be set in one specific way. Now, since I began my gifts, I did, when I first started, I actually was asked, well, how did you know that, you were going to do this kind of work? And as far, I know a lot of people may be looking at this video and like, oh, you're just one of those psychic mediums, that are doing videos on YouTube. But really and truly, I never saw myself doing spiritual work at all. And for the most part, I was very skeptic about psychics and mediums. But then there was a show that did come on, that intrigued my interest many years ago, and it was on the Lifetime channel, and it was I believe America's Psychic Challenge. And so there was a lot of group of psychics who today, some of them I am friends with, and I'm very proud to say that. And these are the top mediums in the world. They have been, or top psychics as well, and they have been proven to their abilities on live television under strict regulations. So a lot of people think that things that are on TV are necessarily staged, and that's not the case. And so I saw a lot of these psychics being tested on certain challenges, and basically putting their skills to the test. And it kind of before that, I even I always had intuition. As a child, I always saw spirit, and I was always very in tune. But over time, I kind of started having, experience. And then when I had my NDE, then, everything changed for me. And so I was a lot more in tune with my psychic abilities. And I knew that this was the path that I wanted to take. It was just like a calling. Like when it's your calling and it's your time, that's how you're going to know. So a lot of people ask me, well, how did you know? You just know. I mean, you just know that your mission is to help people in the world and make it a better place. And a lot of people are skeptic about that. But going back to predictions and knowing about future insight, if you have gone to my YouTube, not my YouTube, but to my actual website. It's www.raymondguzman.net, and you go to the blog section. I write a lot of blogs, and I try to kind of keep you updated. But every year since 2015, I have made some predictions, and a lot of them have come actually true. Not to toot my own horn. That's not what the intents and purposes of this video is, but it is to give you some updates on things that I have seen, and some of the predictions that I did see that did come out right. Now, I have to say that one of my major predictions that did come right was the actual 2016 presidential election, where a lot of psychics in the world had predicted that Hillary Clinton was actually going to be president. I had actually tuned in a few months before, almost a year, I believe, but I had done the actual prediction. I believe it was around February of 2016, and I did predict that it was going to be a man, and I knew exactly who it was going to be. It was going to be Donald Trump, but because you are in a position where you're using someone's name who is who could be considered controversial to certain people, that I didn't want to be attacked ahead of time, because everybody had seen that it was going to be Hillary Clinton that was going to be the next president of the United States, and it's actually President Trump. And so I was one of the psychics, and I think there was a couple of other psychics that actually did get this correctly. And if you're out there tuning into this channel and you maybe had known that yourself before anything else, that was going to happen, it has been, it was a validation, a major validation for me and my own abilities. And not because it's ego, this is not about my ego. We all have good and bad ego. But it was to, I guess to understand myself, my own capabilities and what I could see. And how I see this is that I am a clairvoyant. So a lot of, when you're a clairvoyant, you have clear seeing. And this is seen through your third eye in the mind. You get to see a lot of visions, snapshots of things that are happening. It's almost like a movie playing in real time, or in slow motion, or you may just get like some movie stills, of certain clips of certain things that are happening. And so when I do my predictions, I do tend to spend my time, just really relaxing for the whole day, and just tuning into spirit, and then I write all of the predictions of everything that I've seen. I'm not somebody who spends tons of time on focusing on worldly events, or focusing on a lot of celebrity gossip, celebrity things. But I want to cover a couple of other predictions that I did, that I actually did predict, and they did come true. And I'm on my iPad right now, so I'm gonna get some of these right now so I can go over them with you. And you can read them if you are on my website. If you go to the blogs, there's 2017 predictions for the world, and then I actually had a high volume of people from Australia wanting to get predictions specifically for Australia. So there's a 2017 and 18 predictions for Australia. Some of them did actually come through. Now, one of the predictions that I had made was the back on December 16th, December 26, 2016. I had seen, I made a prediction. I said I kept seeing more and more events being triggered by terrorists. America is not their only target, and what Spirit shows me is that there will be a target. They will target religious institutions, and this will cause more reactions worldwide. I keep seeing Europe and the Vatican, and specifically Italy. I also see the current Pope speaking more about the acts of violence. These people who claim to be supporters of the terrorists will continue to target events where people are gathered. In one vision, I saw a bridge and lots of water being targeted to disable or immobilize people, creating a congestion of people, and then terrorists targeting people. Again, I felt this is to be in Europe and in or near the UK. And that is in my predictions on my actual website. Now, on Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017, there was a deadly attack it was on a Wednesday that it happened in London, where a man driving a sport utility vehicle crushed pedestrians on Westminster Bridge, and then stabbed and killed a police officer outside of Parliament. And there was actually a New York Times article on that. And so I kind of keep track on some of my predictions to see if it does come true. And I did see a lot of it happening in London, specifically, and then you have Manchester, where there's another attack during the Ariana Grande concert. So that's going to be, that's a hot spot. But and a lot of people will say, well, if you saw it, why didn't you say anything about it? Why don't you alert or help people? But you have to understand that some of these things, that we see, some people are not going to take us seriously as psychics and mediums. They're not going to see, they're not going to necessarily agree, or until things actually happen, or they start manifesting, and they're validated. Then, some people will say, oh, you were right. But a lot of these predictions that are coming true as we speak. Another prediction that I had made was about the musician Drake, who's also, you could say, into the hip hop community. One of my favorite singers. So on December 26, 2016, I made a prediction. I said, I keep seeing him embracing the more bad guy's side, and I see legal scandals connected to him in making headlines in 2017. Now, this has to do with his personal life and music, and I also see him stepping into a movie role this year. Now, I had one of my clients actually send me a message validating what I had seen, and on April the 3rd, 2017, Drake actually talks, it came out in an article that Drake was in talks to appear in the UK primetime drama show Top Boy. Which is, I believe, like a show on music. It could be something else. I'm not familiar with the show, so don't quote me on that. But I believe he is going to be making that appearance on that show, or he has already. Comment on the section below if you do know if he did. Another thing that I had seen was on December 26th, I had predicted the following of our current U.S. December 26, 2017. I had predicted that the administration, I keep seeing key people who were part of Trump's campaign now being replaced, as we have seen. Those who are appointed will either leave willingly their position or step down, as they are temporary. The administration will be very spontaneous, and that is unlike other presidents. We saw more of a continuation of policies and appointed people, but I see at least within the first year, 2 key people who are likely Trump advisors will be stepping down or replaced, and it will be something that causes a lot of finger pointing. It will be messy, but it's for the greater good of the administration. And so it was validated on Wednesday, April 5th, 2017. President Donald Trump reorganized his National Security Council on Wednesday, removing Chief Strategist Stephen Bannon from a key committee and restoring the roles of top intelligence and defense officials, according to a person familiar with the decision and notice publishing in the Federal Register. So not only Bannon, but there was a lot of other key members, and I'm not going to get into it because it's political, and that is not why I'm bringing this up, but it was one of the predictions that I had actually made. Another prediction that I actually had made was on December 26, 2016, and I saw bankruptcy. I said I saw 2 major companies in the world may fall for bankruptcy, and these are larger manufacturers. So this was validated on March 28, 2017. Westinghouse Electric Company, the Cranberry-based nuclear power firm that has endangered the viability of its Japanese parent company, will seek bankruptcy protection under Chapter 11, according to the Japanese news agency Nikkei. Now, already Toshiba has said it will need to write down more than $6 billion associated with the projects. It is possibly the number will be higher. Toshiba's officials have said in the past few weeks that Westinghouse accrues liquidated damages from missing milestones or possibly breaching its contracts with the U.S. utilities. Now, that was something that did come through, and then a few weeks later there was another company, and I can't remember who, but it is on my Facebook page. If you scroll through the actual articles that I do publish, I kind of do that on there. So that was one of the other predictions that I had made that actually came true. Let's see here. The only other one that I wanted to really cover in this video was one that was recently happened, and this was centered around the famous Australian rapper Iggy Azalea. Now, on April 10th, 2017, I had written a prediction, and this was in the Australian World Predictions, and I had said Iggy Azalea is struggling career-wise as much of her attention and fame has slowly deteriorated. I keep seeing she may start focusing more on changing management within 2018 and reinvent herself. One thing is for sure, we have not heard or seen the last of her. And it was validated on June 2nd. This was supposedly to be her comeback album that she's been working on, but after her first two singles flopped, according, I don't want to use the terminology flop because I really like Iggy and I really support her music, but this is coming per verbatim from the article that was published. It was a little harsh on her. It was the Daily Mail, from the UK. They did kind of like tear her to shreds a little bit in their review, and they said that the singles had flopped. She had released two songs, they flopped, and her album was delayed and pushed back. Now, this actually made Iggy unleash a tirade on her record company, which is the Def Jam Records, and they have changed the release date of Digital Distortion without keeping her in the loop. So she went onto Snapchat and she actually did some videos, and in those videos she slammed the executives of the company for confusing her and her fans over the date. And she just basically said she had no idea when that was actually going to be coming out. So as I'm not, like I said, tooting my own horn, but I did want to go ahead and do a video on predictions. There will be more predictions that I'm making. Some of them, may be a little bit far off, or they may not occur in that year that I'm doing, or focusing on. It can occur, but again, this is all due to free will, and a lot of people didn't understand why Hillary didn't win the election, and actually Trump did. They had saw it. And all I can say is that destiny is in control, and the divine timing, and everything happens for a reason. So, this is, when you hear psychics do predictions or they get them wrong, you may think they got them wrong, but then later on it actually does happen. And I've had a lot of clients that come to me and they say, you told me this and I couldn't, take it at face value when it happened, when you told me. But, months down the road, it happened exactly as you said, because usually, if I'm getting insight, Spirit may say, it's going to happen within a certain year time frame or a 2-year time frame. So I'll get that kind of information. So, you can't really, think that, a lot of psychics out there, or people who make predictions, whether it's celebrity predictions, world predictions, look at Nostradamus. He had written a lot of predictions. And a lot of them did come to pass. A lot of people tried to negate that, but a lot of them did come to pass. So there's been a lot of people who do predictions, and there will continue to be a lot of people doing predictions for the world or for celebrities. So you can call it predictions, you can call it insight for the future, you can call it whatever you like. But the fact is that certain people do have the ability to see certain snippets or insights on possible outcomes or possible variables for the future. So I want to thank you so much for being open-minded and tuning into this channel, into this video itself. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up, and please be sure to subscribe on the bottom right hand corner, and hit that red button that says subscribe, and you'll be notified of any future videos that I'll be publishing. If you'd like an actual psychic reading or spiritual reading, guidance, you can go to my website. All of my readings are on sale this month, and it's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. Be sure to follow me on my Facebook page. I do post daily horoscopes. That's www.facebook.com/psychic medium Ray. And if you're on Instagram, it is going to be @psychic medium Ray. So be sure to subscribe to all of them or follow my pages. And thank you again for tuning in, and blessings and love and light.